What's going on, guys? Evil Gaming 736 here with another video, and Happy New Year's to everybody out there. And today we are going to talk about a subject and redoing an old video of mine that I want to talk about. It is this video right here. It has almost been 2 years since I released this video onto my channel. This was a build that would help focus on working on player versus enemies in the AI section of Destiny 2. Time has changed, and the class itself has changed itself differently. I'm here to go over what's different about the Sunbreaker bottom tree build and how you can improve it in your gameplay. Let's go. To start it off, we need to talk about the perks of the bottom tree Sunbreaker before getting into what you really want to run in this build. The first perk is Mortar Blast. Hitting an enemy with the ability releases a solar explosion, burning nearby enemies. This perk, whenever you hit an enemy with your melee when the ability is charged, will cause a nearby explosion to burn nearby enemies in a group. The best way to use this is to group up enemies and punch them dead in the center, causing them all to burn and maybe getting kills. A cool thing I found out when experimenting with this is if you kill an enemy while this burning effect is active with anything, it will drop the sunspot that is needed for your Sunbreaker's bottom tree. Now to the second perk. The second perk is Soul Invictus. Solar ability kills restore health. Grenade, melee ability, and Sun Warrior kills leave sunspots. This is where your friend from the bottom tree Sunbreaker build becomes your #1 ally in any gunfight or any fight in ever. So getting ability kills will drop, or Sun Warrior kills will drop these little sunspots for you. You could be protected by sitting inside of them. If they kill the enemy, you get health. And the next perk increases what happens when you're sitting inside those sunspots. Let's get to perk 3. The third perk, Sun Warrior. Passing through sunspot causes grenades and melee abilities to recharge faster and causes supers to last longer. And while inside of a sunspot, all damage is increased. Now it is increased by a slight hint, maybe 5% of your damage increased. But inside of your sunspots, as you see down here in the gameplay, my melee is regenerating extremely fast. Then looking at it now, it is slowly regenerating. With the Sun Warrior stat, it increases all of your abilities' recharge rates, and it will cause your supers to last longer the longer you sit inside of a sunspot. Let's get to perk 4. The final perk, Endless Siege. Hammers create sunspots on impact, while inside sunspots causes you to throw the hammers and your super faster. Now, whenever you hit an enemy with your hammer, a sunspot will appear. You don't need to get a kill, you just need to hit them and it will appear. Or you can throw it at the ground and a sunspot will appear. While your super is active, if you stand in one of your sunspots, it will cause you to last longer due to your Sun Warrior perk, and it will increase your damage while also having you throw more hammers in that increased amount of time you have with your super. Now we're going to talk about what exotics you should use with this build. Now we're going to talk about the exotics that you could use with this build and that will benefit you when you are using bottom tree Sunbreaker. Let's get. The first exotic is Hallow Fire Heart. Increases the recharge rate of your solar abilities and is better when your super is charged. So what this means is when you have this chestplate active, your equipment, meaning your grenade and your melee ability, recharge faster. And while your super is recharged, it greatly increases the speed of your recharge speed of your abilities. Now we'll get to the second exotic piece of armor. Phoenix Cradle. Sun Warrior lasts twice as long. Allies who walk through sunspots are granted Sun Warrior. While having this exotic equipped will allow your friends and allies to have the ability to walk through your sunspots and have their abilities regenerate solar, void, or arc. And your sunspots, instead of lasting for 5 seconds, will last for 10 seconds. That's a great improvement. Now let's get to the next one. Armentarium. All it does is it gives you a second grenade charge. So pretty much if you wanted to run this with your Sunspot Sunbreaker build, all you need to do is to put this on and combine ashes to assets, which will improve your Sunspot making if a giant group of enemies run into them, and your ashes to assets will give you super energy when getting kills with your grenade. Now let's get to the next exotic. The final exotic is Kepri's Horn. Solar damage kills recharge your barricade. When summoned, unleashes a blast of solar energy. Whenever you deploy your barricade, meaning it could be rally or it could be the towering barricade, a blast of solar energy will pop out and strike enemies from a distance. And getting solar damage kills, meaning solar weapons, power, special, or getting ability or super kills will allow you to have this. Now, I'm going to explain to you how to optimize your sunspots and your super. Let's get into it. How to optimize your sunspots effectively. So in order to start that off is to start dropping sunspots. Whenever you take a step into it, you get Sun Warrior. What I like to do is I like to sit inside my sunspot till I get my ability, which it regenerates your stuff pretty fast. Howlfire Heart will double that speed for you if you're sitting inside your sunspot, causing you to have quite the regeneration speed. And getting the best way to drop your sunspots is to throw your grenade down in a group of enemies and they'll drop sunspots for you. Stand in it. Enemies that charge you will be burned alive and you will be able to generate your grenades pretty fast. My first tip for you on how to optimize your sunspots for your super is to spread out your hammers. Throwing them in different areas gives you better control of the area over bigger amounts of enemies. Let's say there's a giant group and you throw one to the left and one to the right. You're easily able to control the size they'll have by making it harder for them to move. My second tip for you on how to optimize your hammers is to aim for giant groups of enemies, more than 3, or if there's just a small group, aim for the group indefinitely. Throwing your hammer inside of a group will cause them to be burned to a crisp when your sunspot hits them. It overall increases the amount of damage you can do in a short amount of time to the groups of enemies and to control the amount of enemies that are fighting you at once, giving you and your team an easier way to survive through the thing. And my final tip for you is to optimize your sunspots as best as possible, because you never know when that grenade or melee could come in handy for you. If you don't usually have it, well, I don't know how to say it, but usually your grenade and your melee are the #1 things that comes to it when you're low on ammo or you need to reload. Now right here, the irony is that I didn't spread out my hammers, but there was a huge group that I knew that was coming on in, so if I stood in the center with my super active, I can use my sunspots to my advantage. As you see here, I've getting tons of kills and killing multiple enemies before they can even put a dent in my health bar. But here we go with the final words of the video. I'd like to shout out to my boys Savad, Wiley J, and Red9 for helping me out with the idea of redoing my channel and revisiting some old things I need to redo. Thank you to Junior Bulldogs for letting me get some footage while I was playing with them last night. And I also like to say thank you all for supporting the channel for as long as it's been. It's going to be 4 years once it hits April, and I'm going to be surprised that I had actually made it this far doing what I do worst. But I just want to say thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys like it, subscribe, and to check out the original video, I'll leave in the link down below. And I hope to see you guys next time.
and see you all in the near future. Goodbye.